I got my juicy ass ready for the conversation.
You got a juicy ass?
Yep. See,
Nice. That's what you
if
drank last
it,
time we talked.
yeah, well, it's been a while, so I figured I'd get it.
Yeah, that's the good shit, man. Do you know what's
Yeah.
fucked up? The other, like the last time that I had like a big hangout at my house, I got so fucking drunk that I was laying out in the backyard on the ground. I tripped over a table that my dad built, and my mom fucking came outside, and I'm like screaming for my mom, and she's just like, what are you doing down there? And I'm like, I'm fucked. I'm like covered in puke. I go in the garage, I eat some food, I puke all over the fucking garage floor, and then I come into my room and I puke all over the bed.
So it
So
was a typical Saturday night for you.
yeah, I probably won't include that in the actual video. That's twisted, man. So what have you been watching? I know you've been
so
watching that Quibi or whatever the fuck it
Quibi,
is.
yeah. I mean, Quibi's it fills up like maybe 20 minutes of my day to watch, because it's like 8 minute. Like you remember the serials back in the like 30s and 40s, right? Like
Yeah,
the things that Indiana Jones are based on and all that. That's what
yeah.
it's like. So there's this one that I watch that I'm really into, Most Dangerous Game, with Christoph Waltz
Oh, okay.
and Liam Hemsworth, the guy who got dumped by Miley Cyrus, or vice versa. I can't remember. And it's based off of the book The Most Dangerous Game, which is hunting humans, right? But it's modernized, and it's got its own twists and turns and stuff. It's got some like it's killer. Like each episode ends on like a bit of a cliffhanger, and then like how does he get out of that, and then you just move on to the next one. Then there was 50 States of Fright, which Sam Raimi did the first three episodes, and he's a producer of the series. So it's basically they took urban legends from different 50 states, and they just kind of like retell them. I've only watched the first three. There's another set that I'm just gearing up to, because the first one was, even though it was 8 minutes per episode, it packed so much story and tension in it, and kind of like creepiness to it, that I was like, oh, okay, I'm not sure if I'm ready for that yet.
Right.
And then another one I watched with Dan DeHaan, or Dane DeHaan, uh, the guy from the Chronicle, the bad guy who's also in
Oh, okay.
Amazing Spider-Man as the Harry Osborn. It's called The Stranger, and it's got the girl from It Follows.
Okay.
So she's the main character, and she's like an Uber driver, and she picks up Dane DeHaan as a passenger, and then it turns out Dane DeHaan's a sociopath, and he's hunting her down, and tracking, like, basically he has access to all the phones and all the cameras and everything, and he's just tracking her down, and you're trying to wonder if she's crazy, or he's really that good, or if there's other people in on it. So that's really intense, and that keeps going. But yeah, it's like right now it's a 90-day trial, so like normally it's like
Okay.
$6.99, and you can only watch it on your phone, and it's kind of cool because you can watch it like, how people take their phone, like how we complain of how people take videos where they watch them upright,
Yeah.
or like you can watch it that way, or you can flip the phone and get the wide view. And
Okay.
there's like Punked is on there, so they brought back Punked.
Oh
Um,
shit.
yeah.
With Aston Kutcher?
Well, not with Aston Kutcher, but like a couple of other guys, and they've got like big name celebrities attached to this, because it's like
Nice.
real quick. They can go in and shoot like 2 days and shoot like 12 episodes, and
Yeah.
and just drive content. So it's really good. I
Nice.
don't know if I'd pay for it after the 90 days yet. Like so far with Most Dangerous Game, it's worth it. It's something I would want to buy that, because it's like Christoph Waltz is just amazing in it. Like he
That's
he
actually a book
plays.
that that's a book that I actually read.
Yeah.
Like after high school, I had to go to an adult school for a bit, and we read a series of short stories. And if that's an actual book, I never read an actual book, but we read like a maybe a condensed version of it because it was nothing more than a few pages. But I'll never
Yeah.
forget that and thinking that was really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a book that inspired like so many other movies and stuff, like Hard Target, uh,
Oh, I fucking love
that,
Hard Target, man.
that one with Ice T. I can't remember what it's called. Like it's him and Rutger Hauer.
Oh fuck, that seems like a low budget match made in heaven
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
it totally was. Like it had like elements of Battle Royale, like where they had like collars that would blow up and stuff like that.
Right.
And so like Ice-T has it, and he's like an ex-cop, and he's invited out to this cabin with a bunch of people, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna hunt you, and then they send him out, and it's all these white guys hunting down this one black guy. Um, it's really cool. It was a good movie. Good 90s schlock movie. Like, you don't expect high budget. It's just good action, entertainment to pop it on. And then outside of that, what I've been watching, I've been going on Amazon trying to find movies that are on DVD that are out of print for some reason. Like, I managed to find I was going to Beat Goes On before the lockdown, and hitting everything on my wish list and just trying to get as much as I could. Even stuff that like I have on digital now, but I'm like, okay, something happens, I want to be able to say I still have it.
Yeah.
So I doing a lot of thrifting and going to like Jumbo Video, and Beat Goes On, obviously. What's the other one?
Cinema One.
Game Cycle.
Game Cycle is amazing. Game Cycle is amazing because they got that like 4 for 10 or whatever it is, 5 for 10.
Yep.
Like you could,
and
you
Sally Am and Goodwill.
Oh, of course. Me and you, we've run into each other thrifting before at the bookstores and shit like that.
Yeah, if I see you,
I
then
was with
I'm
my
like,
uncle. Yeah, I remember you had a bunch of shit, and I was like, everything that was probably good here has been fucking snagged. We might as well not even go in.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, man. You know what?
That was the day I got Shaolin Soccer.
Yes.
And I was like, oh,
you gotta see this movie, Shaolin Soccer. Fuck.
We got to do a watch party of that. We gotta once this is over, we'll sit down and do a like, put it on. We'll watch it, record ourselves, and just do like like I've seen it, so I know how good it is, but you haven't, so it's like a first time for you. So yeah, don't watch it yet. We'll do a watch party after.
Yeah. Do you know what I watched over the weekend? This is totally fucking random and totally unlike the kind of stuff that I usually watch. I put in Hostel 3 followed by Saw 3, these were just two random DVD-Rs that were in the garage from like my cousin's old collection. He used to buy DVD-Rs from this. You remember the Pot of Gold Bingo?
Yeah.
That was kind of like the Asia flea market for a while, like because Asia used to be right at Hamilton, like near over by where I live, and now it's way up there. It's not there anymore. Totally. Yeah, it's not there anymore. But when it was, you could go there, and there was this guy that had this little CD corner with tons and fucking tons of just burnt movies, and he bought tons of them, man. And he gave me them all when he was done, like, because when he moved, he was like, "Fuck it, I don't want all this shit." So I got a bunch of this
illegal crap.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in possession of a lot of fucking illegal bootlegs, but they're not even ones I'd be like proud of being caught with. You know what I mean? Like if they were gonna catch me, I don't want to be caught with like these fucking Nicolas Cage films from 2008 and shit like that. But anyways,
dresses and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. The fucking stupid shit. But there was some good horror stuff. There was a couple of those Amityville sequels and shit. Like he had some good stuff, but he wasn't like us. Like he wasn't sick about it. But I totally forgot how good Saw 3 was, and it made me want to rewatch the whole fucking series because, no word of a lie, I don't think I made it past part 3 or maybe part 4, and I'm intrigued. Like I thought, as gross as it was and all that, like there's a scene where it shows like a guy's brain getting cut open and the skull getting sawed away and all that shit, and with Hostel 3, it just has these douchebaggy, unlikable characters, but they're not unlikable to the point of how they are now in these kind of fucking movies. Like, do you know, like when you pop in like a slasher movie that's made in the last like 5 years, you have all the tropes, like they're always represented, you know, like the goofy stoner, the fucking hot guy, the fucking hot girl, the girl that's like the virgin, and then just some maybe a few other like fodder characters, and they're all so unlikable. And at least back then, they all kind of had a little bit of, like, there was still a little bit of charm to them, I think, in some way. Like the goofy cocksucker at the end of Saw 3, like just the way he sold his asshole performance was hilarious, and it was so cheesy. Not like a great movie, but entertaining as hell.
Was that was the one with Mark Wahlberg was in the second one, and then
no,
the third one had the guy from Nip Tuck, I think, and he played like an asshole lawyer. or something like that.
No, the third one, it was
With the
about,
judge.
yeah, it had the judge. The judge was in like that thing with all the pigs getting in it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
okay.
sure. I've never seen Nip Tuck or anything like that.
I didn't finish. I didn't go on after that because I was like, at that point, you were like, I've already seen what's being done. Like it's just
Yeah,
how extreme are they going to go, and that didn't interest me. I wanted more of a. I liked the story of one and two.
yeah,
Two had a great twist at the end. One obviously had an
yeah,
iconic twist, but the rest of it, like, I don't like gore for the sake of gore. It's got to
yeah.
mean something, and it's got to have some type of uh,
Well, maybe that's what gets me with part three because I have seen part one and two, and with part three, they do that part at the end where they showcase how they set up the first Saw like situation.
oh yeah.
Like I thought that was really fucking cool because it's almost like a behind the scenes, but an actual behind the scenes like within the movie, if that even makes sense. Like it's just cool because I really think that uh those first three, especially, I can't even remember part four. Is part two the one where the chick gets thrown into the pit of needles?
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's part two.
yeah, so I've seen part one, two, and three, 100%. Part four, that's when I'm starting to get a little not remembering shit, if I even seen it, because I know there's about eight or nine or maybe 10.
There's seven now, I think, because they went up to like Saw six, then there was Jigsaw, and then there's that new Chris Rock one. That's kind of a
There's nine. There's nine right now.
there's nine. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's so many. I mean, like Jason has his like he's up there in his numbers as well, but at the same time, Jason Voorhees every time they do it, it's a little bit different, and it's not the same of like how gross can they get. They're like, okay, we got to change it up and do some type of like, let's put him in space or let's put him against the telepath. There's something different about it, and I think that's where Saw didn't didn't captivate me because yeah, it had a twist at the first one, it had a twist at the second one, but you can't M Night Shyamalan the whole thing and just keep doing a twist at the end of each one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and like with me, like the Friday the 13th films, I like them how they're split up almost in chapters, if that makes sense. Like my favorite section being four, five, and six, like the Tommy Jarvis. Uh, those three films are my favorite out of those movies, followed by probably Freddy versus Jason. That could be blasphemous to some, but I just
Yeah,
like
no,
those
I
later
liked
ones.
Freddy versus Jason for what it was. I was hoping for more of a fight between them. Like I wanted more that they kind of hinted at it, but more like where Jason wants to kill this one person, Freddy wants to kill this one person, and they're kind of battling it out to like who's going to get to that person. That would
Yeah,
have been that's how I would have story structured that story. But I mean, they did it a bit where like Jason killed somebody instead of Freddy, and Freddy got all mad about it. But I would have had that throughout the whole movie.
they kind of made that movie like they almost made Jason seem like a good guy,
Yeah,
or like they were hinting at that or something, and I'm like, I don't like that. I want him being a psycho, or not a psycho, but like
a force of
this
nature.
unmovable force of nature. Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Like I don't know, man. I'm excited for the way that horror films are going because we got movies like in the last few years, movies like Hereditary, whether you like it or not, Midsummer.
I just watched Hereditary over like the last few months before like since our last chat. I gotta say I, I wasn't a big fan of it. I
Really,
Yeah, there was a lot of things that just like one I'd seen movies like that before. It was a good throwback to like the
of
70s
course, yeah, like a
or
Rosemary's Baby kind of like that's the vibe I
yeah,
was getting. Yeah,
yeah, Omen, that type of stuff. But it just there's a lot of like just pointless stuff that didn't need to happen. And like there's a lot of mythology behind the events of the thing that you have to know, and if you don't know it, then the movie just kind of like, what the hell did I just watch? But not until you look deeper into like the mythology of like, yes, this demon was is apparently real, not real, but like people did worship it at one point, and it did have this kind of ritual going on. But if you don't know that movie, then it's wasted on it, right?
I
There's no
think that
setup.
Hereditary is one of those movies that I think is like uh I guess you could say like a love hate thing, because like everything about it to me, like I know the tropes are there and all that stuff, but I found it so intriguing because parts of it made me feel like it was supernatural, and then I switched to thinking it wasn't supernatural, and then it kind of had me guessing. And it is a movie that you have to watch multiple times, I would say, much like Midsummer. And even like I compare that director Ari Aster to Robert Eggers, who did Lighthouse and The Witch,
Yeah.
because he's made both, like all the movies are completely like different. You know what I mean? Like that Robert Eggers, his next one is supposed to be like a Viking kind of movie, something
Yeah.
like that. And I think that would be good because he's really good at selling that, different time era type shit. Like did you watch Lighthouse yet?
No, that's the one I like. I don't want to watch it until I know that it's based off of that the actual, like there's a story about this lighthouse with the three guys or something like that, and some mysterious stuff happens and then they disappear. And there's been a few movies that have come out about lighthouses that aren't that, and I'm like, well, I want to see that movie before I watch this other lighthouse movie.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I get you. I really liked it. I think you could find some enjoyment out of it. But then again, I don't know, because I think I told you to watch Hereditary, and if you weren't a big fan of it, I can see people not being a big fan of it. You're not the first person to tell me you weren't like goo goo gaga over it or anything like that.
yeah,
But
like it was shot well, it was acted well. It's just the story didn't captivate me, like to the like
right,
there was just too many coincidences and conveniences. Like I watched one YouTube afterwards because I was like, you know how like when you watch a movie and you're like, this everyone liked this and I didn't. Am I the only one? And then you start Googling it and finding all these other people who don't like it and they break it down why they didn't like it.
yeah,
I didn't like it because the whole reason why the daughter gets killed is a huge coincidence, and yet it's supposed
that's
to be part
really
of this
hard to
elaborate
set up.
plan.
Yeah, that's really hard to buy. I understand that, because like that, yeah,
Like they don't
it's
have an
one of those.
EpiPen on her. He doesn't take her to the hospital. She happens to stick her head out the window at that exact moment to hit that exact pole.
My part that pisses me off the most is like she clearly does not want to go to this fucking party, yet
Yeah.
the mother nailed it with her performance though,
Oh,
man.
she was great.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, she's the best part of the film. But fuck, man, I love that scene where they're smoking weed and she comes in and she's having the allergic reaction and all that,
Yeah.
because I think that's probably like, even if her head didn't get cut off at that scene, I think that scene would still be as fucked up and freaky, especially if you know anyone that's like has to take an EpiPen or anything like that. It's like, and plus you got to put yourself in the character's position. He's high as hell. He's
Hmm.
driving with his sister who's having an allergic reaction. Like, ah man, and then he kills her. Like I
Well, he
like the way
didn't.
that
He
they.
like he just she just happened to hit that pole that was already marked by the cult. So
Right,
like
but what was
that's
it?
where
Wasn't there like a cow or something that, or like a car coming he had to swerve for or something
yeah
like
there was
that?
like an animal on the road that
A
he had
dead
to
animal.
swerve.
That's what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. And there's parts in the film where that little symbol shows up, that's on the necklace, and that's actually engraved on the tree. I didn't see that until I did my own sort of YouTube research with questions of my own, and seeing that, and then when I watched the actual film again, like I feel like this movie is like the Blair Witch Project. Like it kind of helps if you like check out some shit first, or
Yeah.
maybe not first, but after. Like, because I was really interested in the whole thing. I really liked it, man. And Midsummer too. Did you watch that or no?
No, I haven't seen that one because I was waiting to
Not
see
nearly
because
as
everyone's
good.
saying how Hereditary was so good. I was like, well, I want to watch that first, so that and then I'll watch Midsummer.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's just there's something about that type of horror that I mean it's good. It fits a certain audience. It almost feels like it's trying not to be horror.
Yeah.
Like it's ashamed of being horror, so it hides itself in this high drama
Yeah.
and cinematography that it's beautiful and all that, but it's just like we're not a horror movie. We're a serious drama, psychological thriller.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I don't like, and I don't think that the director of that film sells it in that way. I can
No.
see other like hipster type fucking assholes selling it that way, but I feel like he just thinks it is an homage to your Rosemary Baby type film, It's Alive type shit, like
Yeah.
that kind of like slow burning bullshit with the cult twist, which you don't see nearly enough. And it's like I made a video with my uncle a while back, and he was talking about like how the cult situations back in like the 70s, like they were one of the scariest things because they were a prevalent thing. And
Oh, yeah, the
film
Satanic Panic and everything.
yeah, exactly. Like in the films reflected that, and
Yeah.
now like we don't have any of that. And I think that the cults that are out there, like that fucking movie or that show Tiger King, and
Yeah.
there's these polygamous fucking guys. Like if there's people out there that can brainwash people that easy, then I could only imagine if you were saying you were Jesus or God or something like that.
Yeah,
You know
there's
what I'm
like
saying?
there's a Waco on Netflix just came
Right.
out. So that goes into that cult aspect and that. Like the last good cult movie I saw was I think Badlands, where it's it's basically they're on the Mexican border, and then and the one guy pisses off a drug dealer. Yeah, you got to get that haircut.
I know.
Get the razors out.
I'm thinking about it, dude.
Well, I'm growing a beard now, so
There
that's
you
my
go.
thing. I got time now. I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Badlands. Basically, it's a drug dealers who are running a cult, and it got human sacrifice, and they capture these three American kids who are across the border, like in Tijuana for a holiday, and you know that whole escape type thing. Uh, most yeah, a good cult movie. It's not going to happen until they adapt the the Call of Cthulhu. I think I mispronounced it.
Oh,
Or
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they do that and they do it right, that's going to be probably like the best cult movie in a long time. Uh,
Nice.
Speaking of Cthulhu or Underwater, which just came out on digital, because I mean you can still technically go out and buy it, but you're not going to be able to get into Walmart with the lineups the way they are. That's apparently it's basically the Call of Cthulhu without the cults. So there's this
Nice.
deep sea underwater monster somehow terrorizing this group of people, and that girl from Twilight, Kristen Stewart, I think her name is. She's the lead character in it. So
Right on.
sounds good, but I haven't seen it yet.
Right on.
Yeah.
That sounds not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole slew of like underwater or yeah, like kind of like Moby Dick, In the Heart of the Sea, Jaws. Like I really like that kind of
Deep
shit, man.
Deep Rising, The
Never
Abyss,
watched that.
Deepwater Six. Yeah.
I've never seen any of those. I've seen
Oh, Deep Rising. You need to see.
is it
Uh,
good?
yeah. Well, it's by the guy who did. It's by the guy who did The Mummy.
Oh, I love that movie.
The Brendan Fraser movie, right?
I love that movie.
And it's got Treat Williams.
Who the fuck is that?
It's pretty epic. Uh, The Abyss is James Cameron.
Okay.
So that's like okay, remember Terminator 2? You see the liquid metal and
Yeah.
all that stuff. That effect was originated in The Abyss.
Okay.
So
I tried to start that film one night and I either fell asleep or just
yeah,
wasn't my
it can get
style and
pretty
I was like,
it
eh.
can get pretty boring. Uh, Deepwater Six, I think it's called Deepwater Six. Has Peter Weller in it.
Okay.
And
RoboCop.
it's a creature movie.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
What
I
about
would
Leviathan? Have you ever seen Leviathan?
yes, Leviathan. That's the one with Peter Weller. Sorry,
Yeah,
Leviathan.
because I was thinking, I was like, holy fuck, Peter Weller's been in another underwater horror film. Holy
Yeah, no,
shit.
I get those two mixed up because they came out at the same time. 'Cause,
Okay.
like after Abyss, there was a slew of underwater movies. So yeah, Leviathan's the one with Peter Weller. Deep Water Six is the knockoff, I guess, or the lesser of the two, but still a pretty good horror movie. That was
Oh,
oh man, that was like in the '90s, early '90s.
that's
I was
crazy.
a kid, so I go into the video store and there's all these movies.
Have you ever
But,
seen the movie called Deep Impact?
yeah, with Morgan
Is that any
Freeman.
good?
It's well, let's put it this way: it's the more realistic version of Armageddon.
Okay.
So it's a different movie than Armageddon, but I mean, if you're gonna watch a comet or an asteroid coming to impact Earth, and you just want a mindless action flick, Armageddon is the way to go. If you want something with a little bit more social commentary, a little more serious, then Deep Impact is the way to go.
Okay,
Or you
I'm
can just
happy
watch
to
that
I'm happy to
Simpsons
hear
episode.
that. I'm happy to hear that it's like a better version or a more thought-provoking version of Armageddon, because I do like Armageddon. I like the whole idea. I'm not a fan of all the the acting and all that shit, but I like the
Oh no.
idea of I like the idea of the fucking asteroid coming to hit Earth and them going up there with limited time. Like, this is crazy. I think we might have talked about this before, but I just recently watched both Last Samurai and Dances with Wolves. Those
Oh
movies
yeah.
are they're the same
They're the
fucking
same.
movie, man.
Yeah.
Same deal. But
Same movie
I
because
love both of them.
yeah, I you know I kind of like Tom Cruise. I've almost seen almost all of his movies. I don't like everyone seems to hate him, but I'm like his movies are entertaining
Oh yeah.
regardless. Like even Oblivion, which wasn't like great, but it was entertaining. I still enjoyed it. Yeah, the Mission Impossible movies, they just keep getting better and better. And so I
What
keep
was the
watching
name of
those.
what was that movie called with Tom Cruise with Jamie Foxx?
Collateral.
Collateral.
Jamie Foxx, the
That
taxi
movie,
driver. That was a
yeah,
good one. Yeah.
that movie. I was listening to a podcast recently. They were talking about that and saying it's one of those instances where they used 35 and video and
Yep.
mixed it. And I've been meaning to watch that again because I like that whole mixing of formats.
Yeah,
And
I imagine they did a lot of the digital in the car because having a 35 millimeter camera in a car.
in a car for that long, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I imagine that they mixed in the digital there and popped in the 35 mil for the exterior shots.
Yeah.
But that was a good movie. Like to me, that was it was good to see Tom Cruise kind of in almost every movie that Tom Cruise is in. He's Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
right? He doesn't play anything else, but in that movie he played somebody else. And Tropic Thunder too, he played somebody else,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So
I love that shit.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
so
the other thing
cringy.
I went off on. After Justin Trudeau's blackface issue, I went out and tried to snag up all the blackface movies I can because I'm like, these things are going to get canceled. They're not going to
Yeah.
exist anymore. These are going to be part of our history. So I grabbed Tropic Thunder, Soul Man. I didn't grab the Watermelon Man, but that was that was the alternate version of
Is
blackface. That was a black actor playing a white guy in the beginning of the movie, and then he
isn't that a
becomes
70s film?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's so good because
Yeah.
it's this white guy who lives a certain life, and then all of a sudden he turns black, and his neighbors turn against him, and everybody's against him, and he's like, "What? I'm the same guy, but he's black." And it's like, oh, it was so good. It's like that
That's
Eddie
some
Murphy.
social commentary for you.
Yeah, well, it's like that Eddie Murphy skit he did in back in his SNL days. He's like, I'm a black man. I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to dress up as a white man and go on the bus. And he sits on the bus, and there's a couple of black people on the bus. And then he's like, and something strange happened when the black people got off the bus. The black people get off the bus, and all of a sudden it turns into a party bus, and they're all like, wine comes out, and they start stewardess. He goes, and he's like, this is weird.
That's
It's so
hilarious.
good.
That's
Yeah,
good. I've
it's
never heard that one.
no,
That's
it's if you can find Eddie Murphy's best of skits from SNL, though they're so classic. Like you think early SNL, you think like the samurai from Jim Belushi. He's like the samurai chef or samurai dry cleaner or something like that. And then, but Eddie Murphy that was the top of his game. He did some of the best skits. I didn't see his comeback on SNL this past year, but I heard it was amazing. Like I saw the opening intro where they had all the like he's standing there talking, and then all of a sudden they bring out all the black people who have been on SNL, and they all stand behind him talking about how great he was and how he was so inspirational. And this white guy comes on and says, "Yeah, man, you were so inspirational." He goes, "No, it's not the time, man. Just walk away."
Didn't he
It's
bring out Chappelle and like Tracy
yeah,
Morgan and Chris
yeah, oh yeah.
Rock? Fuck.
Like like Richard Pryor was the like he was the man. Richard Pryor started it. He inspired Eddie Murphy, and then Eddie Murphy inspired Chris Rock and all those other guys. Eddie Murphy was he really like 18 on like and then on SNL, like one of the, at that time that was the most watched primetime show, and you had this 18-year-old kid on SNL, and then he does Delirious, his stand-up comedy, all the movies like Golden Child, Beverly Hills Cop, and then he does Raw. It was so good, and totally inappropriate. You can't watch it now. Those jokes aren't funny at all right now. I would not advise watching that if you're sensitive.
I would. I would advise everybody, sensitive or not, you got no excuse but to put on fucking Chappelle Show season
Oh
1
yeah,
and
Chappelle.
2,
Yeah.
and that's all. That's all she wrote. Like, I think I talked about this the other night. Like, Chappelle Show is one of those shows that it will never happen again. And if you were
Yeah,
there,
never.
like, and to put it in perspective, that show came out in like 2002. I'm 10 years old, and I was watching that shit, and like that type of stuff gave us our sense of humors. You know what I mean? Like for me, like I wouldn't think messed up stuff is funny if it hadn't been for that. But I also can separate reality from comedy. You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah,
problem.
absolutely.
A lot of people can't,
Well,
which
like,
is sad.
do you remember Steve Martin's the movie The Jerk?
Yes, I do.
Yep. Remember that scene where he's basically he's raised by a black family. He thinks he's black,
Yeah.
and then the whole bunch of white people are talking about like how they're gonna buy this neighborhood and they're gonna get rid of the N words, and he's like, "What? I am," and then he starts kicking their asses and stuff. Like, you can't do that now. You can't do
Yeah.
that. But it
No,
was so funny.
I will feel I will feel robbed if I don't say this. There's a great song by the group called EPMD, and it's called Steve Martin. It's
Oh,
one of the best songs from like it's okay. So when you talk about hip hop, that's one of the best hip hop songs from the late 80s. You know what I mean?
yeah.
When it was still like before it went gangster. But yeah, man,
It was still pretty hardcore. I mean,
it was still hardcore. Oh yeah, like rap.
Public Enemy was
Yeah.
it wasn't gangster, but it was, as one person put it, that it was. I mean, it was the CNN for black people. Like, you
Yeah,
got
well,
your news out that way.
yeah, like it was pre NWA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that Public Enemy's there and all that. Like, to me, like I have the utmost respect for groups like Public Enemy and all that stuff, but it was never my preferred choice of the early era of rap. Like, I was always more of a KRS-One kind of guy.
Oh,
Like not so much like like the Fight the Power type songs, and like, to be honest with you, I can't even name that many Public Enemy songs because it's not, it wasn't for me. I'm more of a storyteller influenced enjoyer of rap music, if that makes sense. So I love me
yeah.
some.
I was
some
into
good
the jazz style, like Tribe Called Quest.
Oh yes, Tribe Called
De La
Quest. Me and my
Soul.
brother.
That was the hip hop that I enjoyed the most, because it was.
Rest in peace, Fife Dog.
Oh yeah, that was a huge loss when he passed.
Yeah.
But at that time, like, Tribe wasn't putting out anything new. Q-Tip wasn't even doing anything at that point. Fife Dog was definitely, he was still doing like guest tracks and stuff, and probably producing a lot of music. But
Yeah.
Tribe Called Quest was nowhere near the height, because gangster rap took over. Everybody wanted to be Snoop Dogg, and
Yeah.
no offense to Snoop Dogg, but it was like, once that came around, it was like, okay, that's what we're gonna all do. And then
Yeah. Everyone that got brushed under the fucking under the rug, like all the like your fucking guys from the East Coast, especially, because that's one of my favorite. But guys like Das Effects, guys like and I'm not saying they were brushed under the rug, but they're your guys that are sort of on the behind everything on the shelf, if you want to say that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not stuff that you taught. When people talk about, oh, what's your favorite kind of music? Oh, I like rap. People say, especially when I was a kid, it was like 50 Cent, The Game, all that shit. And I'm like, well, Wu-Tang Clan and fucking EPMD, DOS Effects, because all this music that I was listening to all came from watching movies. So you hear a really badass song in a movie, and you're like, what's that? So that movie, Tales from the Hood, has a song at the end by Spice One called Born to Die. And I was listening to that when I was like 8 years old, and like knew the lyrics, and it's violent as fuck. Once again, I've never done any shoot up school shit or anything like that. I've played Grand Theft Auto when I was a kid, and I'm fine. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Like if you think rock and roll, there's all kinds of different genres of rock, right? Like you got your southern
Yes.
rock, your blues rock, your heavy metal, your classic rock, which I mean that's just blues rock. Even new country, right, is rock. Whereas most people don't think about hip hop in the same sense, right? Like they don't think that there's an Atlanta hip hop, there's an East Coast New York hip hop, West Coast. There's even a Midwest hip hop if you think about it. But everyone just lumps hip hop all into one thing, right? And that just seems to be the way it goes. But
And that's bullshit.
Totally. But the way it goes is like if one artist makes it big, the 10 and 20 artists that come after him have to emulate him. You look at Post Malone, like how many other people sound like Post Malone now, right? Like it's crazy. Like, and the holy grail of as a record producer, the holy grail is to find a white rapper. And they got one with they tried with Vanilla Ice, didn't really quite work out because we were hip to that at the time. We were like, not really. That's not really hip hop. And then they got it with Eminem, and like there you go. And now they're trying to like Machine Gun Kelly and all these other hip hop artists that are white, right? No offense, they're good and all, but they're being pushed way. It's like wrestling, like, here's the push. We're gonna put you to the forefront whether you deserve it or not, and that's all you hear. And then because you hear it, you like it because that's what gets played. So it's just strange.
It's strange, man.
Yeah,
Fuck.
because it's like trying to remember. So when I say DMX, who's the next rapper that comes close to DMX? Like Ja Rule, or
When I think of DMX, automatically I think about like that a guy that's not DMX, probably Eve.
Yeah,
from the Rough Riders, and I think wasn't Onyx part of the Rough Riders at one point? I could be wrong.
Well, a member of them, yeah.
Sticky
But that's
Fingers
just
might
it.
have
Like
been.
that voice, that gravelly voice. You haven't like 5 others come out like with that gravelly voice, and you're like, wait a second, it's who is that? Same with rock. I mean, like you think of Nickelback and how many 12 bands right after Nickelback made it big, all sounded like, and it was just like, oh god, Puddle of Mud.
The thing is, when people say, when they're talking about, like, I would never throw on a Nickelback song, but if a Nickelback song comes on, I've never once been like, that's a fucking horrible song. But maybe that's just me because I don't know. I like that song, Rockstar. The reason why I wasn't a fan, but I was kind of partial on it was because the music video was so cool and they had all these different people in it. It was like an event, like it was a big deal. And I thought the song went like it flowed good with the video, and that's about it. And they did that other song called I forget what the fuck it was called, but it was for like Spider-Man, and there was a music video for The Hero. Yeah. Is that what it was? Fuck.
Yeah.
I actually just found a bootleg copy of Spider-Man 2 in my basement the other day. Yeah, like that's the
good one. Spider-Man 2 is apparently that's the good one.
I don't understand that. I think that the third one was better than that fucking second one, and I don't even like those kind of movies.
See, I'm a comic book fan. That's who
You're
I am.
I too am a comic book fan, but you are a comic book fan in the sense of like your Marvels and stuff like that. Like you've done your homework, you've read the comics from back in the day. You know the storyline, so you could get offended easier than a guy like me could in terms of how the story's delivered. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, see, the reason that Spider-Man 2 was better was because it had there was a character arc for Peter Parker, and there was a character arc for the main villain. And if you think of Spider-Man 3, there really wasn't much of an arc. Sure, he became bad and then kind of became good, and then the new Green Goblin, James Franco's character, his turn came out of nowhere. The Sandman was probably the only good part about that movie, but even he retconned the death of Uncle Ben so that he was more responsible for it, and then Venom was just tossed in and wasted, like entirely wasted. So that's why Spider-Man 3 gets a whole bunch of hate.
The only thing I remember from that film was like the fight at the end, but I also remember the thing with the Sandman and like the shit with like his daughter. Wasn't
Yeah,
his
like
daughter sick or something? Like that
that
was
was
pretty. That
good.
was pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the part that people like. It's that's the
It seems
emotional
like a
heart
big
of it.
missed opportunity. Then like they could have like made a few other films and kept maybe the Sandman for the main villain of that, and then you know
No, it was like
I,
Sandman should have been the villain of three, and they should have started the arc of James Franco's character, right? Like
like
that should have
made
been
like yeah,
continued on,
that would
build
have been
up
part
to that.
four, and then part five would have been Venom kind of thing.
Yeah, and Venom should have been introduced. Like Eddie Brock's character should have been introduced, and not be Venom. You can introduce the black suit all you want because that kind of parallels the Sandman story. You know, it's like guy is doing bad but he only because he feels forced to, and Spider-Man is doing bad because he's feeling forced to because of the suit, right? So you have a mirror thing. So just those two would have been enough, but the studios got involved and they pushed Sam Raimi to throw in Venom, and then he's like, this is probably going to be my last one, so I'm going to throw in the Green Goblin too,
Yeah,
and so
just get as
that's
many as you can in there.
yeah, and the sad thing is that he just got announced to do the new Doctor Strange movie that's coming out. So Into the Multiverse of Madness, which is a throwback to In the Mouth of Madness, by John Carpenter. Um,
Right.
and I'm not excited for that now because Sam Raimi has a specific look and a specific feel to his films, and I don't think that fits the Marvel the Marvel look
Right.
that you've come to expect.
Hmm.
So, I mean, some people may like that because they're kind of getting tired of the Marvel look. I personally like it because it's like I know what I'm expecting when I get into it. So I've enjoyed almost every single Marvel movie except for Iron Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World.
Okay.
Whoa, you're turning
No,
bright.
I haven't. I haven't seen a new Marvel film since one of those Deadpool films I've seen in theater. I didn't mind that. I hated that fucking guy that like worked at the bar, like the
Oh,
comedic
TJ
relief.
Miller.
I fucking hate that. Any guy that acts like that should be shot with a ball of his own shit mixed with his piss. That's my
Well,
opinion.
that's the interesting thing about that character is that he is not supposed to be that sure of himself. He's supposed to be
He's
like
just a
basically
fucking cunt.
he's supposed to be bullied by Deadpool. Like Deadpool's taking advantage of this guy, threatening him, beating him up every now and then,
Oh, so but he's
making,
just going
making
to
him
this guy.
scared.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Uh,
Deadpool's an asshole. Like that's the whole point of it.
yeah, the
Yeah,
merc with a mouth.
yeah. Like he's always been an asshole, except he's trying to become a hero. In the Deadpool movie, he basically like, oh, he's a good guy right from the beginning, and now he's a hero. It's like, well, sure, but you missed an entire arc that you could have done. But
Yeah.
nobody wants to see an asshole on film unless they're watching like a Bruce Willis movie.
There you go. Did you ever see that movie Cop Out?
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's
I
the
like
the
that
movie that
movie.
broke Kevin Smith's heart.
Yeah, well, fuck him. Too bad for him, man. Like, I like that. I don't mind that movie. I thought it was like my thing is I love Tracy Morgan, so
Yeah,
I'm kind of biased there, and I love the way that he's like I just love the guy, so that's why I like the movie.
it
Bruce
was a good
Willis.
a good buddy movie.
It,
I did like it. I thought Kevin
yeah,
Smith did a good job.
it could have been
I think
anybody but Bruce Willis though. Like anyone could have played that character.
yeah, but
Anybody.
you needed that star power and to
I guess, and you need him for that one joke where he says "Yippee ki and he goes, "I don't know what that's from," or
yeah.
some shit. Like when he's doing all the movie lines at the beginning. I love that shit.
But you need to like a grizz like it could have been Harrison Ford. He could have done that, but you needed somebody who looked like who could be a grumpy cop, right? Like somebody who's
Yeah,
not going to take that shit. And that's why they cast Bruce Willis, right? Because he was still a big star at the time. He wasn't just phoning in his performances. He was just a good actor.
yeah. I never was big on Bruce Willis. I could take or leave him. I liked him in
It's,
Pulp Fiction.
he's hit or miss. Like the first three Die Hards, pretty good. Death Becomes Her, he was really good in that.
What
If
about
you haven't
Fifth
seen,
Element? I've been meaning to watch that.
oh, Fifth Element, yeah, okay. If you haven't seen it, you need to
I
watch
have
it.
seen it, but it's been many years.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like think of Blade Runner, how visionary it was. Like it had an aesthetic that you're like, whoa, okay, this is the future. This is sci-fi. That's what the Fifth Element was to me. Like that was like I grew up with Blade Runner, and then I saw Fifth Element. I was like, okay, now this is the new future, right?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned in one of your other videos, Heavy Metal, right?
Oh yes.
Okay, you know that scene, your favorite part, the favorite storyline with the
Harry
taxi driver.
Canyon. Yeah.
Yes, that's what Fifth Element is like, right?
See, I
Like,
remember that. I remember him being. There's a scene where he's in his apartment and he puts a guy like in a fridge,
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that. Like that. That's about as much as I remember. Because
yeah.
I
Like
know that Chris
it
Tucker's
had
in
its
that film,
quirky
and I don't
comedy
even remember.
elements to it.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's where you got that part to come in. But for the most part, it was really like it was just Future looked amazing. The comedy was pretty good. The acting was like it was cheesy, but that's what the movie was, right? It
Right.
had the late Luke Perry in it. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? So,
Oh
but
man.
yeah, Fifth Element I would check out for sure. That's one of his well, it's one of Luc Besson's best films outside of The Professional and The Femme Nikita.
Oh
It's
fuck! I love both those films.
yeah, that's I just made my girlfriend at the time. I made her watch The Professional because she hadn't seen it, but she loves what's her name,
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman. Yes, she loves her, and I was like, you got to see her in this, and she's like, holy fuck, like she can act like crazy, and
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's good. It's good
Yeah,
shit.
and then
And
I didn't make her watch La Femme Nikita because it's like it would be subtitled and whatnot. But that was a great movie. And
yeah.
then like the problem with that one was that it got Americanized or bastardized, as the us Canadians say it, with to into a movie called The Point of No Return with Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
So like that was it Jodie Foster or no? Not Jodie Foster. It's Bridget something. Bridget
Not
Nielsen.
sure. Bridget Nielsen. That sounds
Oh,
familiar.
Bridget Nielsen is the Stallone's ex-wife.
Oh. You know what's
She was
crazy?
in.
You just reminded me of something. Stallone's one son, the one that died, Sage Stallone.
Yeah,
He's the guy that owns Grindhouse Releasing, like that company that puts out like horror films. Like they put out Pieces, I Drink Your Blood, Cannibal
yeah.
Holocaust. Like I did not know that. And there's this guy that I watched. Shout out to this is an old show off YouTube that's not even they haven't posted a video in years. It was called The Cinephiles, and they talked
Okay.
about it once. And what movie was I just referencing? Because I just drew a blank.
Uh, damn it. I was just
Fuck.
talking Bridget Nielsen, and then you're like, oh, Stallone.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was watching this show, and they brought that up, and apparently, the Sage Stallone had shown his dad Cannibal Holocaust, and I
Yeah,
like the thought of like Sylvester Stallone like sitting there like watching Cannibal Holocaust, like it just blows my mind, man.
I don't
Because
know,
like
man. It like, if you've seen like his director, like when he directs a movie, like Rambo, Last Blood, Expendables, he gets the exploitation movies. Like he really does get those, and he was an Italian stallion, so he's got nothing to worry about.
I think because he is like an exploitation superstar, a
Oh yeah,
mainstream exploitation superstar. Like because Rambo, whether whatever you want to call it, that is a because exploitation to me is a very vague term that can
yeah.
cover a lot of fucking movies, and I think that is like a, a soldier coming back home exploitation film series, you know?
Oh yeah,
Because I'm sure
yeah.
there's a lot of guys that came back and had to go through that horseshit that those a lot of guys were going through when they were coming back. You know, getting spit on, called baby killer, all that vile crap. That's
Oh
what he
yeah. It's
uh,
it's so good. And that guy walking, the one man walking into town and throwing
yeah,
all the shit. That was your walking tall and all that,
yeah.
to
So
overthrowing
people were
stuff.
trying, people were or like they were trying to create a film based off of a certain type of person, and that's exploiting it, right? So that
Yeah.
how could you not call it that? And same with movies like all those prison films, because like they're exploiting the factor in prison. American Me is like
Lock up.
the fucking Dude, have you ever seen a movie called Dog Pound?
No, it
You should.
sounds familiar, but I haven't seen it.
It's I back in the day, my dad had IFC, the channel IFC, and they played all these great films all the time and HBO and shit. But this movie Dog Pound came on, and it's like an updated version of Bad Boys with Sean Penn, like
Oh, okay, yeah,
a modern version of that, and it's fucking awesome.
yeah.
And it's so goddamn, and it's Canadian. It's Canadian made,
Oh,
so
okay.
everyone sounds like us.
Oh, so it's like Trailer Park Boys for those
Yeah,
American audiences. That's the
yeah,
funny thing. Is like so many. Trailer Park Boys is more popular in the States than it is in Canada.
yeah.
It's
Isn't that
so weird.
crazy?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
and
Because
it
I
was like,
think
oh yeah,
more people in the States can relate with like being in a fucking trailer park, I think, man.
I think so. Yeah, like to us, like, oh, you live in a trailer park. That's luxury. I
Yeah,
live in
I
a
know.
like
We think that's luxury. Like those
I live
mobile
in a
homes are
two-bedroom
fucking
apartment in
nice.
a high rise.
Yeah. Like, dude,
Like,
those honestly, when I was a kid, I wanted nothing more than to have my own mobile home. Like like
oh, oh yeah,
like like I just because my uncle had one and I remember going there and just being like, this is fucking awesome.
yeah,
This is awesome. You're at a campground. I love me some camping, so I'm like, this is camping all the time.
yeah.
Now I'm like, fuck, I know I would love to own a trailer to like take around, but I wouldn't want to live in one now. I wouldn't be able to fit all my fucking movies into a mobile home at this point.
No, no. That's
I'd be fucked.
that's well. I mean, you mentioned it in the chat room yesterday on your other video that Trailer Park from Hell. I think is that what it was called? Trailer Park from Hell
Oh,
or
Trailer Park
Trailer
of
Park of
Terror.
Terror? Yes,
Yeah.
Trailer Park of Terror. I watched that movie and I was like, oh, this is a good. Like as bad as it was, I'm not saying it's a great movie. It was entertaining. It was a throwback to all those like anthology movies, like Creep Show and all that. And then they had a comic book to continue on this story. Had that one actress as the the crypt keeper type to kind of go through it. It was like this is the kind of stuff that I want. I want more anthology.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I love like when Creepshow hit Shutter. That was the
Oh
last
yeah.
thing I watched on Shutter before I canceled Shutter. I don't know why the fuck I canceled Shutter. It's like $5, but I was just like after I watched everything on there, and then the Takashi Miike films, the trilogy called Dead or Alive was about the last thing I wanted to watch, and I
Yeah.
bought it at Beat Goes On, which you know now I'm depressed again because now I'm thinking about Beat Goes On, but
You can still
after
order
that,
from them. So
oh, can you?
yeah, I just bought the movie Frequency. Again, it was another movie I couldn't seem to find on anywhere, so I went out and put it on my wish list. I got a notification, bought it, got it shipped to my door.
Fucking nice,
So
man. That's the way to do it. That's
it cost a little more than I would have paid for it normally. So like it
yeah,
was $6.99, and I got it out on like $4 shipping. So
yeah. And it's just shipping from like fucking literally like across town.
no, they've got stores all over. That's the thing. Like if it's
Oh
in
yeah,
any
that's true.
store,
There's one in I think Guelph. Me
there's
and
one in
Caleb, we
Guelph,
were in
Kitchener,
yeah,
Mississauga, Brampton.
maybe
If
it
it's
was
in any
Kitchener.
of those stores, they'll ship it from there.
Cool,
So yeah.
cool.
So
Fuck yeah,
like
man.
yeah, if you're looking for a good movie or a rare movie or whatever, put it on your wish list. You'll get notified of it. Like there's a few on there that I've got on there that I don't think I'm gonna get. I was surprised I got Black Sheep, not the Chris Farley movie, but the New Zealand horror movie.
Okay,
Surprised I got that one because
that one that you
that's a,
sent me. Yeah, that I heard that movie sucks. How is it? Have you watched
oh
it?
it's okay. If you're expecting a serious horror movie, you got to think of like Dead Alive or Brain Dead, I think it's called in
Yeah,
New
yeah,
Zealand,
yeah.
but like we
Peter
call it Dead
Jackson.
Alive here. The Peter Jackson movie.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it's like. It's like that type of movie. It's just kind of insane. It's got its like the premise alone. I mean, zombie sheeps, in New Zealand, which New Zealand's got a lot of sheep, right? But
Yeah.
the idea of like just sheep that are turned cannibalistic and start, well, not cannibalistic, but like start eating people and infecting people and turning them into zombies and stuff like that too. It's it's really good. Like it's you gotta expect that it's a B movie, like that B movie idea. Not that it's low budget, but it's so good. Like I enjoyed the hell out of it. Like
Nice.
when I saw it, I would say almost 15, 20 years ago, I couldn't I can't get it out of my head. I want to watch it again. So
Yeah.
I was happy to find it again.
Nice.
So
That's good.
yeah, and like that's the thing is like movies are subjective, right? You liked Hereditary. I didn't particularly like it. I can appreciate it. Doesn't mean that I have to like it. And so many people will tell you like, oh, this movie's shit, and you'll watch it and you're like, oh, this is fucking great because you
Well,
have a different sensibility.
but we also look at movies from a different point of view, being like independent, like filmmaker type guys, like guys that are like on the breaking into the industry. It's like when I watch a movie and when you watch a movie, we're thinking about shit that no one else is thinking about, like how certain things were shot and how much of a pain in the ass certain things would have been. Like it blows my mind. Like now when I watch, especially TV, like when I'm watching TV shows, I'm watching their eyes like read the fucking
Oh
uh
yeah,
the
yeah.
Telecaster or whatever it is, like all that kind of stuff. And especially with horror films, like when you're looking at the effects, you're like, that's so badass. Like I would have loved to see how it was set up. And that's why I think there should be a rule whenever you're filming a practical effect scene, it should be fucking mandated and ordered that you have to have someone filming behind the scenes footage, because I think that's almost as interesting sometimes as the effect itself.
I would agree, but I also think that needs to be held off, like until like a few years later, like a decade or so later, and then you have this archive of it. Like if Tom Savini had somebody going around filming all of his stuff he did on Dawn of the Dead, like you'd be like, oh, that's amazing. But instead, you've only got what he did on camera, but not like him what his setup and like here I am building this stuff.
Dude,
Like
dude, that exists. What
oh
you're
like
talking about exists. It's called Document of the Dead. Synapse put it out.
oh really? Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's a documentary that was made. It was filmed on set of Dawn of the Dead,
okay.
but I don't think it was put out till like 1985. And
Ah, okay.
it's literally him making the effects. Like, he's like, all right, we're just gonna do this, and it's like it blows my mind, man, because all of the memorable zombies, you get to see him like putting shit on them, and it's like, this is fucking me up, man. I've been watching this movie since I was a little kid, and now
Yeah.
I'm seeing it be created. Like that's the thing that's great with YouTube. That's like the graveyard of special features. Like you find all the good special feature documentaries that you do not find anywhere else unless you own the DVD, which is a pain in the ass. I mean, I always prefer to have the DVD because of special features and stuff like that. But if it's YouTube, then it's fucking YouTube, and they got a lot of good stuff.
There is I watched a Tom Savini documentary. It was on YouTube, so you can find it. But it was awesome. It was basically going through his entire history, like right up until like uh, right after Dusk Till Dawn, I think. I
Right.
went up to them. Like he's at that point he'd already started his school for special effects. Talked
Yeah.
about his books and stuff that he did. I was so good. Like I, I'm
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that book, but it's $60 right now on Amazon for Canadian, $60 Canadian. And I want to get it, but at the same time, like I don't want to get it and not have the tools to start doing what he's doing. So I got to get some of the special effects tools like an air spray gun,
Yeah.
access to latex and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
just
you could probably break into that type of shit for like a couple $100. You could get all the shit that you need, and then all you need, you got your fucking kids, man. You just practice the effects on your kids.
oh yeah, totally.
You got free dummies, man. Like,
Well,
oh
no, not
man,
only that, but I mean, like you're still making short films. I
yeah.
haven't made a short film since our
Since the
40-hour film
48
festival.
hour challenge, that
Yeah,
was fun.
so I've got to get on that. I mean, I've started to buy equipment. I've got my boom mic. I've got my green screen. I've got my cameras. I've got my lights. I've got it all. I just gotta really just sit down and just come up with an idea that's
Yeah.
doable. I think that's the key. That's what makes your film so great is that there you have a practical idea that you can actually do, and you get out there and you do it, right? Whereas my ideas are a little more complex, and I think I add too much of a budget to them.
Yeah.
Like I've got one idea that I'm working on right now that's just if I were to do it, I would need $500,000 just to do it on the special effects alone. Where
Yeah.
and it's just because of the visual concept. It's not just like cutting somebody or anything like that. But your films have they're like they have the grindhouse feel to it, which is obviously what you're going for, and you have a practical element to it that's so simple but works so well for the short films that you do. So, and the wallet idea, I'm intrigued by the trailer. I'm really looking forward to seeing that finished.
Dude, okay. So that movie right now, it's about 30% shot, and I'm kind of waiting for coronavirus to kind of teeter out, because there's like it's kind of a coronavirus film. My dad wrote this. My dad wrote it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of about the coronavirus in a way, and I wouldn't feel comfortable putting that out until everything, like you're not hearing about people dying from it, because I don't want to make it a joke or anything like that. So
well, it can be no worse than Corona zombies, right?
Dude, I watch this. Okay, I think if I screen share, I don't think you'll be able to see it, but the recording won't be there. So
all right,
I'm gonna show you something real fast. Fuck's sakes. Where is it? All right, so basically what I'm about to show Kevin is a sneak peek of The Wallet, which is a short film that I'm working on that's been written by my father. So can you see this right now?
Not yet, no.
Oh, you can't see it? Hold on, how the fuck did I do that the other night? Okay, here we go. You should be able to see shit now.
Nothing yet.
Right now.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Okay, so here we go.
Hey, it's me.
This is the. Can you hear it? Right. Hold on. Wait. I want you to get the full effect. All right. So basically, what he's looking at right now is not a trailer, but more of a scene from this short film in question that stars my dad, and my brother's going to be in it. I shot it using the Nikon D5600, and
nice.
Once again, this is a rough edit. It's just I wanted to be able to show people like the idea of it. So as you can see, like the old man is sick. My girlfriend did the makeup effects, and the color correction will really bring the effects out. This has not been graded yet, I don't believe.
Now, does he have contacts in his eyes?
He does not.
Okay, so
he does not. So right here, this is the part. Watch this, bro. Empty toilet paper roll, puke. Like this is the shot that I really want you to see right here with a toilet. Now hold on, just wait. I was obsessed with this. To the light, but the thing is,
that's a nice space. Yeah.
When I storyboarded that, I was under the impression that he had a light that was like, like a regular ceiling light, right? Yeah. But I had to switch it up at the last second. But this is where.
Now, is he supposed to be coughing up blood?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually had to mask. Well, I didn't really mask. I just kind of did a little bit of a zoom and move around, because you could see a tripod leg in this upcoming shot right here.
Okay.
My
Give me when you were editing this, if you want, you can give me some of that stuff.
I do want. I was gonna ask you that. I can
change the eyes and stuff like that for it.
That would be fucking slick. But so there's that. But like there's more to it. It's just once I have everything else shot, which I mean I could do like soon, because there's no excuse, but the excuse is social distancing. So I can't really be filming walking around with people, or being with people, and which is bullshit, because it's like I wish everybody, because when I do go out and like say to go to like the grocery store or something, I find like there's no shortage of people like everywhere, man. Like there's people fucking everywhere. They're not taking this shit serious.
Yeah, they're not taking it seriously. No,
they're shoulder to shoulder in the fucking like in the gas stations, like there's lineups outside of the grocery stores. You wait in this lineup for like half an hour. You get in the grocery store and it's packed to the tits. It's crazy.
That's why you go to Giant Tiger.
I love me some Giant Tiger. Giant Tiger's got a good movie selection too, man.
Oh yeah, I go through there all the time now. Like
yeah,
I had so I wanted to watch 1917, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. I thought about buying it online, buying it from like Google Play. Just like, no, I want to own that. That's something I want to own that. And then I pre-ordered it on Best Buy, And then I drove up to Best Buy to do the curbside pickup, line up around the block. I'm like, oh, fuck that. Then I go to Walmart, line up around the block. Then I go to Giant Tiger. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to stop in Giant Tiger, grab a bag of chips. They have it in there. No lineup whatsoever. Quick and easy.
That's awesome.
And they had toilet paper.
Nice. Giant Tiger's good because they got like the grocery portion
Yeah.
and the fucking the movies, and they got some decent like clothes, like kicking around clothes, man. For
Yeah.
sure, man.
But yeah,
Fucking
no,
love Giant Tiger.
yeah, with your film. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go on.
With your film, like if you need to like change the eyes so that they can look a little more diseased or something like that.
I would love
They
that.
do that. I can get rid of that tripod if you need it.
Oh, yeah.
That's something we can easily
That's
do.
your specialty. I forgot to mention. I don't really do like.
Well, it's not my
intros.
specialty. I'm still learning.
But I mean, like it's like that's you're in practice right now because
yeah.
like with these like I don't really like. There's the VHS Graveyard podcast, which me and Retro or Die are doing. We wanted to do that for a while,
which was great, by the way. Like that was
I
awesome.
I appreciate that. And
Even your trash mustache.
Oh no, the Trash Stash.
Trash Stash.
The one we watched last night.
I watched that like that's the thing. Like I mentioned it in when I shared your posts that like you're pumping out content. You're constantly doing something, right?
I'm trying, dude.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I'm trying, and with these, I like them to just kind of flow like conversations, like how it's been like with this, like there's no kind of like formula or format. Like, it's just us talking. Like if we did it the old way, like remember because we have done Bluntzilla video podcast, like the first 3 episodes, me and Kevin, you can check them out on the channel. There's no video, but the one we shot
there
video
was,
for,
but
it was only like it was like 40% video, and so I was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna have half video and then half audio. But those, I think I kind of think we went about those in the wrong way. As of like, we'd go in my basement, grab a bunch of fucking movies, and come upstairs, and like it seemed almost like, okay, we have to talk about these movies. With this, we have nothing in our hands. We're just talking the way we would talk, and like that's the kind of shit that I enjoy listening to, unless it's like a heavy duty good podcast where there's like a format, and they are out there, but the conversations I find are way more interesting.
Yeah, it's so long as the person's interesting. So I mean,
exactly.
Obviously this isn't going to get any views, so we'll see. How
no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine because I know like people like hearing this kind of shit, and if anybody wants to fucking get on, just leave a comment and we can add you on Skype. Like, because I think that we could do like a group thing. I don't think it's just two things. We could do multiple people, so that would be fun, man. Even if it's not like, because my buddy Carl on Facebook, if he's watching the show too, like he wants to do one of these, but he doesn't want it to be broadcast. He just wants to do it private, and I'm fine with that. I love just shooting the shit about movies and stuff. But like if it is recorded, then at least other people get to enjoy it and kill some time at least, and it's fun for us because we just get to shoot the shit. Like, it's a good time.
Yeah, like it's been how long since we were able to hang out?
Oh fuck, it's been like
since October, I think.
Since October, yeah.
Yeah, because like we did the short film, and that was it.
Yeah,
which like
our next meeting up would have been Shock Stock probably.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah,
because like I know you are you working Shock Stock this year again?
Yeah, I'm gonna help volunteer and do some.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, I'm assuming you're gonna be helping out too.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
So,
yeah. I'm like, the thing is, like last year, let's talk about that for a second. Like we got to do some cool fucking shit last year. Like with film Joe Bob Briggs do his like intro, and he talked about this movie called The Freak Maker. It was crazy, man. And like all like Sleazy P fucking Martini from Guar.
Oh yeah.
Which I was totally unfamiliar with that guy, but he had me laugh my ass off. And the chicks from Felicia Rose from Sleepaway Camp, and she was with I forget who that other chick was. She was in Chopping Mall, and
she was in Chopping Mall and a whole bunch of other classic movies. But no, she was. They were amazing. I got
Terrifier guy.
I got to film the Art the Clown getting his makeup done.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that was the Terrifier guy. Yeah, that was crazy, man. I missed out on, like, I've seen him walking around like in makeup and all that. Like, I'd love to like have shock stock running 24/7 for the rest of my life. That nothing would make me more happy.
You're gonna be so excited because I've been talking with Jake, and
I already
Jake
know where you're
has,
going with this. I already know
yeah,
where you're going with
Jake
this.
is putting out is gonna be Shockstock TV. They're
Yeah.
working on it, so we're
Yeah.
gonna have, like, I don't know if you saw Jacob's Shockstock's live stream on Facebook, and he's got a projector down in his basement,
Oh
and
yeah.
they projected some old movies like How to Make a Puppet, and there's some family films at the time. But I think Jacob's missed his calling. He's going to become a Joe Bob Briggs horror.
Well, I already look up to that guy, like I have for years, especially like when I was a kid or when I was younger, because Shock Stock's been 10 years. So it first started
Yeah,
when I was 17, and I've always been intrigued with horror films and stuff. And to have this, like he brought the guy Captain Rhodes from Day of the Dead to London. He brought Sid Haig to London. He brought Tony Todd, like not just Jake, but like the whole like everybody involved with Shock Stock, from like the sponsors to the vendors, everybody. It is like a giant kind of thing. Every year you go there, you see the same
it's
kind of people, and it's just a fucking
it's
awesome
a
time.
family
And
reunion
it is,
every
man.
year. It's a family
It
reunion. You come
is.
back and you see the same faces, and you're like, oh, so good. And each time these family members come back with something new, right? Like it's so
Yeah.
good. And the fact that it's a pretty much a weekend party. So if you book a room, you're pretty much going to be drunk the whole time,
Yeah.
72 hours.
That's a fact. And remember we went and got food at that fucking at like the restaurant part. Like it's good food, and
Oh
like
yeah,
the thing is, if you're a horror fan and you can make it to Shock Stock, fucking make it, because it you won't be disappointed. But you almost need to be able to stick around for a while. Like I've never stayed overnight, but I think if feasible, this year would be the year, because I'd
yeah.
love
That
to
was my
just be
plan
able
too.
to just hang out and get fucked up the whole time and
Yeah.
film everything, man. Like that's one thing I want to do this year. I'm just gonna film fucking everything, dude. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's
fun. I'm
it's
optimistic. I know it'll happen. So
oh
even if
it'll happen.
it doesn't happen in August, if it gets pushed, it gets pushed. But we're still gonna get it. It's only gonna mean, uh, you know, it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. It will be there. We will experience it. I know that. Uh, if you're experiencing a shortage of stuff, you should also check out. Here's a little plug for Odyssey Records. Odyssey Records is doing the drop off deliveries as well, so you can
Oh
call,
yeah, yeah.
like, even if you're not, holy fuck, even if you're not from London, you can go on the Odyssey Records either Facebook page or Instagram, whatever it is. Message him, ask him if he has a certain title, and that this is both vinyl, CDs, cassettes, laser discs, DVDs, Blu-rays, VHS. They got a bunch of shit.
Yep.
Message the guy, and he'll either ship it or fucking bring it right to your house. That type of stuff. So I want guys like Justin, who's got Odyssey going. Like I want him to do well, because he's a really fucking nice guy, but he's doing something for the scene in London that no one
Oh yeah.
else is attempting to do, other
They,
than say
they
like Retromania at the Highland. Like they do a lot of cool shit, but like they're doing showings all the time of just greasy films, good times. Like there's Juicy
they played
Tings, which is
ours.
they played our thing. Like we're in debt. We're in debt to Odyssey Records, man.
Yeah,
And I
we gotta
actually
we gotta do another one so we can have it screening there again.
oh yeah, but I think once all this shit's over, it'd be cool to do like a huge, screening party. And I always thought in my head, I mentioned it to Justin a few times about the short films and stuff before we had actually screened our film there. And I think that a short film festival would do good there, because they're nice and condensed, and you don't have to sit on those shitty chairs for fucking 2 hours. You know what I mean?
True.
Like
Yeah.
that's one thing I regret. Like whenever I went there to see a screening, I've seen probably like, I'm not gonna say I've seen them all, but I've probably been to about three of them. I would say three or four of them. And every time this one dude was there, and he had like an amazing chair, and
Yeah.
I just
Bringing
felt
those
like I felt like such a dick. I'm like, man, I'm like 6 foot, I'm a big dude, and like this fucking chair I'm sitting in is literally like I might as well have sat on top of a folded fucking piece of paper. That's what it felt like. Oh man, that was a
you
good
got the
time.
paper cuts in your ass to prove it.
Exactly, man. Fuck. It was like my ass is like a fucking piece of that silly putty. Like you could see the fucking no frills flyers on it.
I think one of the films we need to do is we need to do a throwback martial arts film.
I would love that. I was like in 2012 I tried to make a martial arts film called Nice Night for a Knife Fight,
Oh,
and it's shit, but I mean I think a martial arts film is really hard to do unless we reached out to people that were actually martial artists.
I have connections. I
Just
know some people
connections?
that are yeah who are martial artists. Not to mention we have in London we have a wrestler named Tyson Dukes, uh, who's I don't know. Have you ever seen Dark Side of the Ring? They did the Chris Benoit special,
No.
and the Tyson Dukes is from London, and he played Chris Benoit, who sadly has a
Oh yeah,
tragic
yeah.
story. Um, but Tyson Dukes is in London. Jake knows him. If we want to get like a muscle bound guy who knows how to do some physical activity, that's a guy we could probably swing
So
into to being in a
so
cheap
we'll get
movie.
him. We'll get him. We'll get my brother. We'll call it a day.
Yeah, you're gonna have
There's
your
a-
brother kicking Tyson Duke's ass.
yeah,
You
we'll
know,
say this is
there's
how it's. This is how it should have been, bitch.
your your lanky, skinny brother.
Yeah. No, dude, you got to see him now, man. You got to see
Oh
him.
no.
He's he's pumping iron. He built a gym in my basement, and he's just been going nuts. But even for like the last decent amount of time, he's been hitting the gym. When he goes to the gym, he goes for like 2 hours at a time.
He's,
So
he's ruining it. He's ruining it.
he's not. He's like the thing is, I got footage of him when he's really fucking chubby as a kid, as
Yeah.
Afro Death in the first one, and then I have him really skinny, and now he's really fucking. He's
So now
jacked.
you can't do the prequel. You can't.
You can't. I mean, we'll have to hire some little fucking bastard to do it.
Some skinny Asian guy.
Yeah. No, yeah, we'll get a white guy. We'll say we're not being we're not going to discriminate. It could be a
We don't see color.
Yeah.
We're actually colorblind filmmakers.
Like the thing is, I always thought like if anyone ever asked me, like you made a character called Afro Death and like you're a white guy and all that, I was like, because I thought about that for when I was younger. I was like, well,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
if I make these movies and someone gets like pissed because they get mad at Quentin Tarantino and all that, but I'm like thinking Tarantino's writing scripts that have like the N bomb and like every fucking other word. I've never had him say anything really.
Yeah.
I just keep him because I want Afro.
And
Death
you're
to be
paying
like,
homage to like Afro Samurai and things
exactly.
like that, right?
Because
Like
it's all it's a big fucking accumulation of me sitting around watching those types of movies and then just regurgitating it out with my own twist to it, if you want to call it that.
and I mean let's face it, it's not like you're being derogatory to the character of Afro Death. There's
No.
nothing derogatory about him. He's just a kick-ass character who just happens to be black with an afro.
Yeah.
Or at
Well,
the time he had.
yeah, at the time he had one, and the bastard fucking shaves it off, and he's got like fucking Bart Simpson hair, for fuck's sakes.
And
But
we're gonna have to get wait till he gets the kid and play hair, and then we'll do it.
yeah, that'd be hilarious. Fuck,
Yeah, no,
man.
I mean, like if you're gonna do a martial arts movie, it's simply finding people that can do the choreography, right? Like a dancer part, like, and then let them figure it out, and you just come up with the story.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
like, okay,
can you
here we
guys
go.
fucking fight? Can you guys
Yeah.
fight? Make it look
We
real.
need a
We're
fight
gonna
between
film
these
it.
two people. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Make it
And then you learn the
realistic.
dance, and you just move around the camera. I got a stabilizer now. I got my own gimbal, so we
Nice.
can do some shots and shit.
Fuck yeah. I wish that this quarantine shit wasn't happening right now, so we could actually film shit.
Yeah. No,
This sucks. This
I
sucks.
mean,
like right.
I try to
I
film
know
shit
you.
in my
I know.
basement, but it looks like crap.
Yeah. Like I know that like you've been like working in the film biz. Like you've been actually in the industry working longer than me, but I've like just gotten my first I just did my first week in Toronto, and like shit's starting to look good and all this, getting like some jobs in the industry, and now it's like, hey little boy, you're going to hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like fucking, it's all taken away.
Well, I mean, like what I'm doing now is I'm editing for a local production company that's just, I mean, they do corporate videos, and I'm learning so much by doing that. Like it's
Yeah, but that's
unreal
all.
how much.
That's your quote unquote specialty. Like you're going to school right now for the editing program. Like we took film together, and now you're taking the step up. Like I mentioned the advanced filmmaking program the other day. you know.
Yeah.
And that, like, because the only thing that had me sold was making the 16 millimeter film, and I wouldn't want to have to make it with some of those fuckers that, you know, like editing. You can, it's a solitary thing. Film
Yeah.
production, if people are not on the same page, it will be disaster, you know. And I just feel like a lot of people were being fucking, they weren't on the same page as me. They didn't want to
Yeah.
make the same kind of thing as me. They wanted to be in a bitchin' program and not make bitchin' content or movies, whatever you want to call it.
Well, that's why, like, when putting together the team for the 48-hour film challenge thing that didn't happen, it was like I knew Dave. Dave knows his shit when it comes to lighting, and like he's a great director of photography. I think, you know, pulls it out of his ass. You're a great, like, story concept coming up, amazing. And then it's just me knowing, like, okay, no, this is how we should shoot it so we can work it all out. And we came, like, the team just melded together. There's no fights, no arguments, no, like, when we were like, you had a reason for having the shot, I was like, yeah, okay, that works, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was like, even
Yeah, it was
going
good.
through, it was quick too. Like, we pumped through it all. Like,
Well, that's the thing when you actually are working with people that aren't fucking, like, you know, dumbasses. Like, it feels better. People that are actually invested with you, as opposed to like, oh, this is a project we got to do. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And that's the biggest difference I've noticed getting out of school and actually into the field is people actually care because there's money involved now. It's not you paying them, it's them paying you. So you want to do a good job, kind of thing, right?
yeah.
Much
Like,
like
even
any job.
like a lot of the music videos that I do, I'm working with a band that has a vision and trying to put that vision together with them, right? And so,
Yeah.
like, I may not get paid a lot. I get paid like a little bit. Like, I'm definitely not getting nowhere near the rates that a director would normally at the time. But I'm also like, the way I'm looking at it is these are bands that don't have a lot of money anyways, and a music
Yeah.
video is a way for me to experiment with different techniques and stuff, and just try out different things. And if it doesn't work, right? So it's
Exactly.
and
Exactly. And
that's
that's the fun part about it, right, dude? Like,
yeah,
fuck.
absolutely. Like, your short films aren't made for money; they're made for passion, right? To
Yeah,
try out
they're
techniques,
made
right?
exactly. Exactly. And one thing I'll give you kudos for this till the day that I die. The first time I ever worked on a music video was the Delta Stone Delta Stone War Dog Dixie Bone song,
Yeah,
and you fucking pulled out an elastic and put it on the tripod and fucking moved it with the elastic, and it's such a simple and stupid thing, but my head was like, I was like, why have I never thought of that, dude? And I
that's
I I, I owe you
that's
for
Film
that, man.
Riot.
Yeah,
Film Riot
film.
taught me that one.
I love Film Riot, dude. Like that was like Film Riot in real life for me. I was like,
Yeah,
this motherfucker just. I look at Dave. I'm like, you see what this fucking guy just did? And he's like, yeah. Like, you know how Dave is? He just like, yeah, like obviously or something. I'm
yeah,
like, Dave, what
yeah.
the fuck,
Seriously,
man? Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy, man. Oh fuck, I miss school, man. I really did have a good time with that. As much as like there was bitching and all that, and like
Yeah.
it was fun to like be in that editing bay at like 3 in the morning, high as fuck. Well, I was always high as fuck in there. Like editing, there'd be like a few other guys in there spread out, and you'd be like, hey, come check out this for a minute. Or, here, let me show you mine. What do you think of this? Like that was fun. It was fun to be around a bunch of people that were actually creative because it wasn't all just, you know, people that were disposable, if you want to call them that. Like it was there was some really creative people like Mac. I loved hanging out with him. And
I think the thing with the program we went through, and the difference between the program I went through is, like, you guys had a 1 year to work up into a relationship. That first year wasn't like, it wasn't that good. It's the second year that was the killer, right?
yeah,
And my program, which is now 1 year, I don't have the time to develop the like those relationships and stuff.
yeah,
And also the fact that, like, I missed a ton of classes because I was working on other projects.
right,
So it's just the idea, like, I you need sorry, at least 2 years to develop those relationships. And if you can merge that into a third year, which unfortunately a lot of people didn't go in, like, a lot of the people in our program didn't go into the visual effects or the advanced filmmaking,
right.
because they didn't need it at the time, right? So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I the visual effects program, I'm learning a lot more from YouTube in terms of, like, cool shit to do and things to try.
Yeah,
It's definitely, I mean, it's good to go into the visual effects because I learned some of the basics things that I need to know, but the really cool stuff, the stuff you really want to try, like making blood and all that stuff, like the gunshot that we did for one of your intros for one of your
Fuck yeah.
Bugzilla videos.
Yeah.
That was me just sitting on YouTube going, oh, so that's how you do it, and giving it a try, right? And
Yeah.
like, and like, what did we do? We shot that gunshot scene 6-7 months beforehand,
Yeah.
and then I was like, oh,
I remember you were just
hold
you
on,
sent
now I
it to
can
me
try that.
randomly. Yeah, you were like I just get a message from you and it's that, and I'm like, oh fuck, I remember that. That's the summertime.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
only like a 2-second shot, right? Like it's just boom, done. But it took
Yeah.
me like a good few days to get that, like, time it out and all that stuff. And it,
Yeah.
obviously doesn't look, it's not professional quality and stuff. There's still some shit. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, right there. There's a spot I need to fix. And
You know,
that's the beauty of, because I mean, half the movies we put out, like even our short that we did, it, like, I know I can spot the problems with it, right? Like I'm saying,
oh
like,
yeah.
oh, right there. No, there, her ass all of a sudden becomes extra big because I accidentally masked the wrong part. Right?
I know
Uh,
the part.
yeah, exactly. But at the same time, it was like we did that within 48 hours, right? Like
Yeah.
we sat down, came up with the idea. You came up with the script. I went through the script, and like I felt bad at first because I was like, you had like 4 or 5 pages of dialogue that I just like, we're getting rid of that.
Well,
Right?
because my thing with writing with that situation was, okay, we have to come up with a movie based off like these couple of you know things that were set up for us to talk about or show in the film, and keeping that in mind, I was like, fuck, like I just got to make something really long, because if we have to cut a bunch of shit out, I'd rather have to cut a bunch of shit out than us scrambling trying to add stuff in. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because that would have been a problem. Like when you talk about being under pressure, like fuck, man, 48 hours to write, shoot, edit a film, and we were screening it like the following week at Odyssey. Like it was exhilarating though, because it was like it was a rush to me, at least. Like felt like we were it felt good, and I hope that we get to do more. I would really like to represent Team Shock Stock again, and make it even more of a fucking like more blood, more violence, more.
I
We need
almost
to
think
get.
Shockstock should totally do that. Should do a 40-hour film challenge, just to like
I
everybody
think,
can do.
but the thing is, I think that the scene in London is so dull. Like they couldn't even get the Forest City Film Festival to get a 48-hour thing going, or like
Yeah, but
let alone
Shockstock
like.
gets people from all over.
That's true. That's very
Yeah.
true. But the thing is, like, okay, let's say they get a 48-hour film thing going. Depending on when it is, like if they do it during Shock Stock, that could raise problems, because there could be a lot of people running around with cameras in the same.
No, you do it the week before, right? You do it the week before. Oh, is that
Right.
Jason coming to kill you?
No, I fucking it's snow. It's either snowing out or I'm tripping balls. Oh, it's snowing. Yeah.
It could be both.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm not. I'm actually fucking.
No,
Positive.
if Shockstock were to do it like 2 weeks beforehand, and then everyone has to submit their film by the deadline, and then they could screen them at Shockstock. Because like imagine the film, the 48-hour film that Beelzebub could do.
Oh fuck! It'd probably just be some broad getting her pussy licked by a guy dressed as a fucking like nun or something like that. It'd be
And you wouldn't want to watch that.
Yeah. All right. I'll say this to the people watching this right now. Kevin is the only guy I've ever met that has seen an entire Beelzebub film, and every time isn't this it for me? To me, it seemed like a 7-hour film, and I'd keep walking into the screening room, and there'd be Kevin like this.
Just right
Like
into
just
it.
watching, just right into it, and I'd be like, I'd look at the screen, it'd be like a fucking chick's fucking ass, like getting spread open or something, and it'd be like, yeah, dude, it's so raunchy, but there's a place for it. There's a place for that kind of
I was
movies,
watching it for the cinematography.
oh
and,
fuck.
and not
Yeah, I watch porn for the acting.
well, if you think about it, like okay, a lot of the amateur shit, no, but like I watched Beelzebub's. There were scenes where he moved the camera and how he was doing it. Not the scenes he was in, because obviously he wasn't doing the camera, but
Yeah.
he he added a couple shots near the end that I was like, oh, that
Yeah.
was really cool. Like he
Oh
he
yeah. When
tried
he's
some
behind
shit.
when he's behind the camera, he definitely knows his stuff. But you can tell that the people he's filming with, it's just like, it's like, hey, I know you're not a filmmaker, but just fucking, can you film this for me real
Oh, he probably
fast?
just
Like,
locks the camera off and then
yeah,
gets in
exactly,
front of it, right? But
exactly. Like, it's crazy, man.
yeah,
You know what
but
I
he's also
thought?
exploring ideas and stuff. And that's what
Yeah,
makes him a good, like, he's not a great filmmaker. He's a filmmaker. That's what makes him a filmmaker, is the fact that he's exploring ideas and concepts and challenging the viewer, one, to sit through the movie, but two, to look past the raunchy and the crude and racial remarks that are going on, and see something under it.
yeah.
It's not art, but at the same time, it's you can't admit that he's taking risks and trying new things.
It's it definitely is welcome at Shock Stock though.
Oh yeah, no, like the
I think
thing with
everyone that
Shock
goes
Stock.
there, everyone that goes there's like a fucking degenerate, but like a good-hearted degenerate, if that makes
Oh yeah,
sense.
like nobody was sitting there like, okay, I'm generalizing, but nobody who goes there is going in there with hate in their heart. They're going in there for the love of cinema, love of bad movies and movies that society has deemed not good.
I
And
feel like this is what I could say about Shock Stock. I think that it's one of those places that if you like leave your fucking backpack or like your purse like on a table or somewhere like on the ground where you were sitting, I don't
yeah,
think anybody would take it. It's that kind of place. It's that kind of atmosphere because everyone's kind of like
mainly because everyone's afraid.
everyone's afraid because everyone looks like fucking me, and then
They're like,
fucking
oh,
giant fucking dudes,
I'm not touching
giant
that. I don't know where it's been.
exactly. But like, there's like, I don't know. I get good vibes when I'm at Shock Stock. The only time I've ever had a bad vibe at Shock Stock, here it comes. Okay, I take my dad and my brother to Shock Stock the first year that they were at the Ramada, and it
Yeah.
was the second day because I had already been there the first day. We're walking around the floor looking at the vendors and shit, and my dad goes up to this booth and he grabs a book because there was this book just chilling there and he wanted to take a look at it. So pretend this is the book. All right. So he reaches for the book and it starts to like tip back and he goes to try to catch it. And when he went to catch it, he ripped the dust jacket right off of the book.
Oh,
Okay.
gee.
And I looked at him, he looked at me, he looked at my little brother, who's like a 6 foot tall black guy, 6'4" black dude. It looks ridiculous, us three hanging out together. But uh my dad looks at me and he goes, I don't know, should I pay for it? And then he looks at me again and he's like, fuck it, and he just walks away. My dad just walks away. He just destroys this guy's book that he's trying to sell for $25, and then he just walks away. And I left. I left, and then the next year when I went to Shock Stock, I was nervous that guy was gonna remember and
Uh,
think that it wasn't. I just didn't want him to think like,
it's okay. He
you know,
blamed your brother.
yeah. I just didn't want to. I didn't want him to have any kind of bad blood because I did feel bad. I thought my dad was about to pay for this book because he wanted to buy it. Obviously, he was looking at it, but just the look on his face, and plus everybody knows the old man knows that he likes to indulge in a beer or two, and of course we're at Shock Stock, so he's had a few beers, so he has the attitude of the old man at Shock Stock while under the influence of a few beers. So rips a book, basically tells the guy to fuck himself without saying it and walks away. And it was ridiculous, man. But it was like that was my only bad experience, but it's fun to talk about and think about
Well, that
now.
was a bad
At the
experience,
time,
not caused by Shock Stock. That was a bad
not
experience caused by your old man.
exactly. And one thing that I fucking loved was the first year that we were at Shock Stock together. uh I think Afro Death in the Locker played, and my dad came walking in, and I was sitting beside you, and you looked at me and said, "Holy shit, there's the old man!" And
Yeah,
it felt like you seeing a celebrity almost. You're like, "Holy shit, man, there's the old man!" That was
exactly.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like that's.
because
I mean,
like at Fanshawe, the old man was sort of a legend. Like my brother and the old man, they were always in my films together, and it was always like, "Who are these guys? Like, what a fucking pair!"
that's the one thing we failed to do with when it came to our short film, is to have your old man in there somehow.
Exactly. Well, remember we were going to have the tape playing of like another film playing. So it was gonna be
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
like a 3-tiered level of
yeah.
like depth.
You'd be watching the like Afro Death or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be like him on the TV screen would be another TV screen of a film that I shot. So it's completely fucked, dude.
Yeah,
You know what I think would be cool? I think tonight, uh, I'll post this, but I'll do it as a premiere again, so we can have like the
the
chat
chat.
going. Because that was fun, man. I thought that was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
dope.
no. Like when we
I
figure
didn't
out
expect.
how to work this YouTube live and do this live, oh, it's gonna be so fun. Like
Well,
the
I know it can be done. Like my buddy J Rock, he's been doing it. He's found a way to stream simultaneously on YouTube and Facebook.
yeah, yeah. Well, like you can. I know we can stream. Like you could stream yourself and do it live,
Yeah,
just with your webcam. But to have the other person coming in at the same time,
yeah.
it
I'm not
takes
sure
like
how
you
that
need
works.
OBS or something like that. But like
Okay.
just I was involved in the chat and just having conversations and shit and talking about like movies and stuff. One of the things I think you need to do with the what was that show, the VHS Graveyard?
Yeah.
One show you need to do is to talk about VHS covers where they're like so much better than the movie.
I've read you commented that. That's a fucking good idea, man.
Because there's so many VHS covers, you're like, oh, this movie sucks, but the cover just looks amazing, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Fucking,
especially from the 80s and 70s. Totally, like that was the thing, right? You have this
oh yeah.
painted forest cover, like Q, uh, like the Winged Serpent had
Right.
an amazing cover. Movie wasn't great,
That's dope.
but yeah. But
That's
then,
dope.
yeah, the idea of simply just, doing a live chat and engaging with an audience and building an audience at the same time, right?
Exactly. That's the thing I'm trying to do, right? Because I'm trying to make like because I really enjoy making the videos. I haven't made an actual video in a few days, but I will. I might film one maybe later on tonight. But doing these conversations, I just get so much fucking enjoyment from because,
Yeah.
like you and my uncle Mike are the only people I know in real life that we can actually talk this kind of talk, and it's fucking awesome. So it's cool to find even other people the guy I just mentioned, that J Rocks guy. I've been talking to him for years, and he was a comic book channel, and he messaged me saying, "Oh, we should do one of these." And I said, "Fuck yeah!" He's been doing them for a while, because he like talks about cologne and shit like that. But which seems random, I know, but it's I don't know, it's cool. It's a good way to bring people together. And the thing I was gonna mention was, if he had been before you, it would have been 3 back-to-back people from California
Oh
live,
yeah.
live with Bluntzilla video. Like Danny from the Trash Stash, who was the guy last night. He's from Chicago, but he lives in California now. And the other guy, Forrest, I think he said he was born in Colorado, but now he lives in California. I don't fucking know. It's a lot of California is hitting Bluntzilla video, and
Well,
especially
that's we're all
with
gonna move out there eventually, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
although
Well,
I'd
it's
love to, I'm hoping to build London as a scene for independent movies.
Well, yeah, and
It's
that's the thing. Like, that's another thing with these podcasts. I would like to get like a guy like Jake on here. You know what I
oh yeah,
mean? Get like people that are in the scene and build like these things for other people to watch. Because like, it's not just for me to get off and be like, oh, I get to talk to my buddies, but it's also people can watch this that have nothing else to fucking do at the time or to kill time with whatever, because there's obviously people want to see this shit and we want to make it. So I figure, why the fuck not just go full tilt? That's why the last couple of weeks I was like putting out a video a day, because I was like, I really actually want to try this time, especially with all the free time we have right now. It's like
oh yeah.
I have no excuse not to make the videos, and that's just the way it's going to be for now on. I think it's going to be as many vids as I can, as many chats like this. How do you want me to label this one? Because I labeled the other one Trash Dash Visits Bluntzilla video, and I think I want to keep it as the visits. So
Oh,
would you
okay.
want me to write Kevin Labonte or just Kevin, or how would you like that to go about?
However, it doesn't matter. Yeah, just Kevin.
Kevin. I'll
Yeah,
just say Kevin. Kevin comes back. Kevin.
yeah.
Kevin's
The return
second.
of Kevin.
The return of Kevin. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, dude. This is
Yeah.
it. This is the fucking title. All right, yo. I think I'm gonna fucking hop off this though, bro, because I gotta eat. I'm munching.
Yeah, no
dude.
problem, man. Cool.
So let's pick up with this next week, and
All
we'll go from there.
Yeah. By then you'll figure out how to do this background.
Exactly, and I'll do it. I'll put something behind me like a fucking gaping fucking ass or something.
Just a gaping ass.
Yeah.
Go.
All right, dude.
All right. Talk to you later, man.
I'm gonna stop the recording.